Hi, welcome to another Super Deluxe Edition unboxing video. I'm Paul Sinclair. I'm going to take a look at Black Sabbath's Paranoid, the Super Deluxe Vinyl Edition. There was actually already, this album's been reissued loads of times over the years. There was a 45th anniversary edition that came out in, I think it was early 2016. But that was a CD version and it didn't come out on vinyl then. So this is the first time the Super Deluxe has come out on vinyl for the 50th. They are repeating that CD set. But the thing that's of most interest is this vinyl package. Because as I say, most of that CD content, well in fact all of it is ported onto vinyl. So this is a hefty 5 LP box set. It's funny actually because there's a backing sheet here which sits on the back. And backing sheets normally are in place because they don't want to spoil the design with, with the track listings and all the rest of it. But slightly bizarrely, when you move this backing sheet, you just see the same thing underneath anyway. So, not exactly sure what the point of this backing sheet is. Anyway, that's by the by. So a quick look at what's on here. So we've got the original album, which was released in 1970, of course. Hence, this is the 50th anniversary edition. The second record is the quadraphonic mix of the album, but in sort of mix to stereo. It's a little bit of a weird one to get your head around. We'll talk about that in a bit more detail later. But that's the second LP. And then there's 3 more records after that, which contain basically live performances, which haven't been released before either. This is quite heavy, so I'm going to put this down. But yeah, let's take a look through it. Now the first thing I noticed actually is this hasn't got one of those nice ribbons that you pull to help you get things out, which is slightly annoying because you have to do that thing where you're sort of slightly worryingly kind of bending the box. But here's the hardcover book. Now I really like this. You have to say I love CDs. I still buy a lot of CDs, but there's something about the large format editions where you get these big books, especially when you look at the old photography inside. So let's just take a look through here. When you see photos like that, big, 12 by 12, it just puts you in the room, takes you back to the time and the place, much more than some little CD booklet. So this is great. This book's really good. It's nicely designed, there's plenty to read, lots of interesting kind of newspaper cuttings and various, labels, etc. It's not like it's not a massive book in terms of the number of pages, but there's more than enough here to keep you going. And all the covers. There's the track listing to everything in the box set. Obviously, it's just an 8-track album. Couple more photos to finish off. Excellent, really like that. That's the top level content. And then they have replicated a tour program of the era, this little slimline thing. These are always quite interesting, just the style of them and the way they're laid out. Yeah, so it's got the tour dates there. This is an American tour. And they're on Vertigo at the time, so that's why it says on Vertigo. So that's the little tour program. There's a massive poster here. The image is a bit on the grainy side, but I suppose it just all adds to the funkiness of it, the grooviness of it. But there you go, that's a big old poster, Black Sabbath Paranoid. That'll probably look pretty good on your wall if you want to take it out and ruin the value of your box set. Right then, let's talk about the records. Let's get down to it. So this is the album, of course, Paranoid, remastered. It's a gatefold, but it's only one record. But it's treated properly. It's in a nice polyline sleeve. All the audio has been remastered by Andy Pierce, who does a very good job. So these should sound great. That familiar album cover, of course. That's one thing about this box set. You do see the same old images time and time again. This is the quad mix in stereo, quad in stereo. So everything's the same really, the same design, same inner sleeve. I mean, they could have done something a bit different with this, I guess, but they chose not to. Now, why do you want the quad mix in stereo? Well, the thing about the quad mix is, to think back to the process, it's a completely different mix. Created a 4.0, 4 speakers at the corner of each room, so that, they would have gone back to the multi-tracks and done a specific mix for that time. And a bit like with the Beatles and the stereo and the mono mixes, inevitably things happen, whether by accident or deliberately. Stuff gets mixed differently, so you get a different version of the album, albeit minor differences, but some of the differences are more than minor, to be fair. So that's really, really interesting, but not everyone's got a quad setup. So how are you going to listen to it and hear these mixes if you don't have a quad setup? Well, this kind of delivers an answer to that question. It's the quad mix, but instead of the mix that they made going to 4 speakers, it's going to 2 speakers, so it's been sort of rejigged, if you like. So the main thing is, it does sound different. There are differences, and they include things like there's a different bass on Iron Man, for example. Completely different bass, I don't know why, but there just is. The effects on Planet Caravan, for instance, in the quad mix, are in different places. Ozzy's vocals a bit higher in the mix, there's a longer fade out, etc. War Pigs has a proper ending. There's significant differences. It's not just the kind of let's shove something in for the sake of it. It does present a slightly different version of the album, which is obviously interesting. So that's the second gatefold, and that's LP number 2. And then the final item in this box is big, heavy, triple vinyl in a big 6-panel sleeve. So that folds out like that. That folds out like that. So 3 records. I mean, they're all like this basically. They're all black polyline sleeves, and that's what the labels look like. But these 2 live shows basically have only been released on CD before. So it's live in Montreux 1970 and live in Brussels 1970. So it's split across 3 vinyl records. So really it's a record and a half for each gig, if you get the gist. At least they haven't done the whole etched disc. So you do get 6 sides of music, which is what you want. So this gives you the information, this vinyl. Andy Pearce mastered it with Matt Wortham, and the vinyl was cut by Barry Grint at Alchemy Mastering, so that gives you a bit of information. So yeah, so this looks quite good. Obviously it's heavy, there's 380 gram vinyl records in there, and that's it for the box set contents. That sits at the bottom of the box. The quad mix sits on top of that. The normal version of the album sits on top of that. You got the poster, the replica tour program, and then this book. So as I say, the only sort of minor criticism is they could have, put a ribbon there to help you get the contents in and out. But yeah, it's a really nice box, and I think any vinyl fans that were unhappy that this wasn't put out as a vinyl deluxe 5 years ago are going to be more than happy with this. The only thing I would say is that I wish they'd included the actual quad mix on a DVD or a Blu-ray. It did come out in 2009, I think, on a deluxe edition. But it's been over 10 years since that's been released. Since we're talking about quad mixes on stereo, well, why not just include the actual quad mix? They could have, thrown in a DVD or something. But again, sort of minor criticism. This is primarily about vinyl fans enjoying vinyl, and it's a well presented package. So I hope you've enjoyed this look at Paranoid, Black Sabbath Super Deluxe. Keep holding the music in your hands, and if you've enjoyed this video, why not subscribe to the SDE YouTube channel for more great physical music unboxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.